This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.
Welcome back. Just recently, police reported a young teen was allegedly found in possession of a high-powered firearm, a AK-47. That information circulated social media with many users calling it disturbing. Well, that teen had his day in court on Monday, charged with 1 count each of possession of a prohibited weapon and possession of ammunition. The juvenile pleaded guilty to both counts and was remanded to the Simpson Penn Institution for Boys. He will remain there until his probation hearing, which is set for April 12th. An American man was arraigned before Chief Magistrate Joyanne Ferguson Pratt for making a false declaration to an officer of the United States. 45-year-old Jeffrey Cohen, a Florida native, was returning to the United States on Sunday, and while at the Lyndon Pinley International Airport, told officers that he was only carrying $15,000 when in fact he was carrying some $49,200. This discovery came about when officers searched Cohen and found $20,700 in his pockets. They further searched his luggage, where they found another $28,500. The American, who was on vacation in the Bahamas with his family, is a frequent gambler at both Bahama and Atlantis casinos. He pleaded guilty to the charges. The chief magistrate ordered that the entire $49,200 be confiscated and added to the public treasury. He was also slapped with a $500 fine and released with a warning. With much of the day-to-day activity in this 21st century being done via the World Wide Web, whether working from home or school or even shopping online, Cable Bahamas Limited, CBL, is paving a smoother path for faster internet connectivity. CBL announcing that over the next 2 years, they will introduce fiber network to Alive or all of their Alive and Cable Bahamas customers across the country. The $80 million investment will begin on New Providence, then on to the Family Islands. Vice President of CBL's Solutions and Marketing, Amber Carey, says the network will be the most reliable in the region.
That fiber will be the fastest and most resilient in the region. We are using Nokia, one of the top infrastructure and networks that are available, that you will see some of the top global telecoms in North America and Europe use. And so that is the focus. The focus is provide the infrastructure, and then how do we help the government and businesses use that infrastructure to create new technologies, new industries, support things like online learning, telehealth. And so that's kind of where we see that bandwidth that we talk about, that speed going in the future.
The new fiber optic network will provide broadband connection that will increase speeds and drastically reduce lag time. Ms. Carey says that one of the company's main priorities is to facilitate consistent internet connectivity throughout the country.
At the Cable Group of companies, we are focused on and committed to continue to advance our technology so that the Bahamas can continue to compete at a global stage. So I'll cover some of the things that we've already done to lay the framework for the future. I'll also speak about some of the future investments we're making in our network. We're also significantly investing in our Family Islands because we think that that investment is key to growth. I will also talk about how we fare in the region, both from a telecommunications perspective as well as a technology perspective. Some of the things we're doing to ensure that we're resilient when facing things like the pandemic and major hurricanes. I will also just kind of give an overview of what, having looked at globally, how countries, especially ones that are small like the Bahamas, can compete and the investment they need to make in things like VR and AR, and what does the metaverse mean for the Bahamas.
Residential areas to receive this upgrade on New Providence were in the southern corridor, including Coral Harbor and Adelaide in the southwest, which began on October of 2022. The upgrades will continue eastward over the next few months. The business world is gearing up for the 32nd Annual Bahamas Business Outlook 2023 this coming Thursday. Over 16 speakers, inclusive of Prime Minister Philip Davis and others from various industries across the Bahamas, will address the outlook under the theme Forward, Upward, Onward, Together, in celebration of the nation's 50th anniversary of independence. Vice President of Cable Bahamas Limited and Alive Solutions and Marketing, Amber Carey, gives an overview of what will be discussed during the conference.
So I think one of the challenges that sometimes happens with our infrastructure that you don't find very often in the world is our archipelago, right? So, we're committed to ensuring that somebody in Nagua has the same service as somebody in Nassau. And our archipelago, from a coverage perspective, for an investment perspective, sometimes makes it challenging and costly. And so we will always face that challenge. But we think, given our investments and plan for the future, that will continue to compete, although geographically we are challenged by investing and continuing to maintain the network that we have. And you're right, connectivity, technology is tied so closely to GDP and, globalization in general. And what a lot of people don't know is that the Bahamas has one of the best networks, mobile networks, and will in the future fiber networks in the region. We can compete at a global level with the capacity that we can provide and the speed that we can provide, and the pure just sustainment of the network.
If you are interested in attending the Outlook, registration is still open to the general public. And again, the Bahamas Business Solutions Outlook is scheduled for January 19th at Bahama Resort, beginning at 8 a.m. And finally, representatives of the Inter-American Development Bank, the IDB, Energy Mission Administration are in country reviewing ongoing works for various solar projects. An opening team meeting at the Office of the Prime Minister on Monday was chaired by local consultant Marco Roll, with a steering committee made up of a cross-section of government agencies that are expected to meet regularly to propel the transition to renewable energy as planned by the IDB and the government of the Bahamas, which is aiming for 30% renewable energy deployment in the country by 2030. This would be made possible by an $80 million IDB loan and a $9 million grant by the European Union. During the team stay, which ends on January 20th, they are expected to visit various sites on New Providence and the Family Islands to make assessments and view reconstruction works. And that'll do it for your JCN Evening News. Once again, I'm Jarino Saunders. Thanks for joining us.
This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.